Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about Chrono Odyssey because I've been playing it, and this game, it's complete false advertising. If you've seen any of the trailers, I've watched for the last, I guess they first showed this in 2023 at a PlayStation showcase as this next-gen, graphically intense MMORPG. Well, I had a chance to play it. I actually put about 5 hours into it. I think I have 4.5 hours into it so far. The game is a completely busted mess. They're claiming this is coming out in the next couple months. The frame rate doesn't work. The game crashes constantly. It is not fun. From the ground up, the trailers are just fake. The game is just fake. And I want to break it down because I'm actually kind of just baffled about why they even did this beta test. I have never played a beta where instantly, the second I logged in, I went, oh yeah, this game is just a scam. But let me explain, because honestly, this game is so deeply busted and unfinished. I want to pick it apart and explain why. If this even comes out before 2027, if it's even halfway playable, I'll be incredibly shocked. Let me explain. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, a little bit of background. I do love MMORPGs. They're so fun and addictive, to be honest. Something about the vertical gear scaling, teaming up with people, getting into guilds, doing dungeons, constantly not just helping each other, but having those cool chase items and stuff, right? That constant urge to log in and get stronger. I love that. That's why I have thousands and thousands of hours in World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV and New World to a lesser extent, or Guild Wars 2. This, though, is an action RPG. These are a little bit different than other MMOs you may have played, where instead of just standing there and casting spells, having a world cooldown and stuff, instead it's much more about being active, having a dodge button, having a stamina system. But the combat, the two things they've been hyping up the most by far is how visually impressive it is and how intense the fighting is, both of which completely fall apart. Let's start by talking about those graphics, because already you're probably watching this video and saying, something is deeply, deeply wrong. Because yes, the visuals of this game do not work. I've been walking up a hill and it's just suddenly changing from day to night. I've gone into cities and watched characters instantly disappear. I have had so much of this game just not fundamentally work. But even in the cutscenes, even when you're actually in a pre-rendered cutscene, hey, here it is. Here is how beautiful our game can be. It still just doesn't look right. So our character, all the characters in this MMO are called the Sentinels. Now, essentially, the whole idea is that the world is ending. At the tutorial thing, the world is already completely screwed, and you're part of a group of heroes that are trying to find this time travel pocket watch thing. It's not by accident. They're specifically looking for it so they can rewind time and try to stop this apocalypse from happening. Well, at the beginning of the game, they find it, they rewind time, and here you are waking up with all the other Sentinels, all the other people that I guess rewinded time. So you and the other Sentinels are trying to get strong enough to stop the apocalypse that's happening here in a year, right? I like that idea, but the cutscenes do not look right. Not only do the character models look all funky, there's a weird ghosting effect. It just looks really, really weird, but I feel like I don't like when a game really tries to champion itself as this super paragon of amazing graphical feasting. The game's performance is pathetic. The game runs at such a bad frame rate, but it's also just such an inconsistent. Some stuff looks halfway decent, some stuff looks terrible, some stuff constantly breaks, quest icons break constantly. The game just, from the ground up, I am shocked by how poorly each and every little tiny speck of this game just does not fit together. But let's talk combat, right? Okay, this is the other big thing, right? You can fight. You can defend the future. Okay, so there are a couple different classes you can play as. This does have a class system like most RPGs, but this one, for the beta, only a couple of I think they said there's 7 total classes. Most of them were completely locked. I wanted to be a caster. I wanted to be like the sorceress, one of the characters you could be as. There was a very intense, in-depth character customization thing. Whatever, I don't care about that. It's a beta. I don't want to spend an hour customizing my face for a game I know I'm not playing for hundreds of hours. I decided to play the warrior style class, the person that uses big, heavy melee weapons. And with this character, I could use all sorts of different stuff. Dual daggers, sword and board, and I went with a big, heavy two-hander. And as soon as I started playing it, I was kind of impressed by there is a spark in the combat that I absolutely think, if this game gets a lot more time in the oven, we're talking years and years in the oven, I do think the combat does have potential. We'll see if they can balance it. The big problem right now is that there really doesn't seem to be a proper way for the AI to interact with you. A lot of times when I'm hitting enemies, they either don't seem to react properly or they're way too fast and aggressive. It feels like a separate team made the enemies than a team that made the players. So because of it, when you're trying to interact with them, it just doesn't quite work. I've had a bunch of my blows where I'm trying to do like a combo and every single hit falls short. It's like, okay, well then why do these combos work? Why am I able to do so much that feels so ineffective? Now, depending on the weapon you choose, by using it, it gives you extra skill points. Now, these are both passive and action. So basically, as you level up, like in this case, the two-hander, I got more and more abilities that let me do staggers and stuns and bleeds, but also just passives where my basic hit cost less stamina and also hit a lot harder. The combat, as bad as it sucks, because don't get me wrong, it does suck, I can see a little bit of ingeniousness kind of glimmering through. If this does get a lot more time in the oven, I think that combat is what I'm most curious to see at end game. Seeing a raid full of people or even a dungeon full of people all fighting something, that would be pretty awesome, especially with how good it feels when I actually connect. But next up, let's talk about the world itself, because while I was playing this, I wanted to see kind of how crafting worked, how questing worked, how that sense of exploration worked. This game is so busted. The game definitely really emphasizes fast travel, of being able to teleport from point to point. The menus just do not work. A bunch of the menus, nothing is labeled. Towns aren't labeled. Fast travel points a lot of times aren't labeled. I could not figure out how to log out. I actually had to force quit. There is so much stuff in the menus that just does not work. And I mean, they're saying, oh, it's a beta, we're still working on stuff. If you expect to release this game here in 5 months, you need to have stuff labeled, brother. But okay, when you go to town, there are quests all over the place. You can pick stuff up. Oh, I'm looking for my lost cat. There's a guy at one point I found who was naked in a waterfall, and I went and saved him by building him a rope ladder, and then I had to find his clothes and stuff. These quests are so incredibly boring. Now, a lot of MMORPGs do have that problem where it's go kill 10 boars. My issue is the fact that no part of this is ever thrilling. I feel like a good MMO gets those hooks in you. When you start playing FF14, they talk about, hey, you're the hero of light. Here's some early quests. Here's some nice spectacle. Here's some early power that makes even that starting zone give you that early taste of the late game loop. At the start, just pressing my one attack button until I get enough talent points to have 2 attack buttons is not fun, and especially because the quests themselves are about as fun as watching paint dry. The quest markers break constantly. The quest objectives a lot of times just don't work. There was a quest I had where this guy said, go to my old house where my wife died and burn it down. I'm never going back there. Burn it down and find her necklace. Bring it to me. The guy disappeared. The quest giver disappeared. The icon telling me to burn the place just disappeared. Every part of the quest broke multiple times. I feel like a lot of my complaints just come down to the fact that the game doesn't work, but I'll be honest, even if they did fix it, it is such a bland experience. Nothing looks fun, nothing feels fun, whether I am picking flowers or doing mining or going to the blacksmith to make myself a new sword, nothing feels satisfying. I do not care about this timeline, I don't care about this world, I don't care about these characters. Movement feels bad. The world feels bad. Chrono Odyssey just feels bad. If this eventually does actually come out, I'll try it again someday. I hope it does come to PlayStation 5. It does seem like that's what they keep advertising it as, a big, giant experience for your PlayStation console. But I just truly, after playing it, I don't think this game is ever going to exist for real. I guess we'll find out. How do you feel about Chrono Odyssey? Did you not even hear about it until I talked about it? I feel like I saw some hype for this game online, and it's kind of turned into immediate disappointment. Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I have never been so happy to delete a beta off my freaking thing. I'm going to delete this off my PC and never ever play it again, unless it gets fixed someday, and then I'll play it again.